and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. My name is David Oualaalou. So good to be with you on this weekend, but also because of the nature of the topic. That's why I couldn't wait. I'm gonna do a recording video for you guys. That's separate things. But this one here, I am gonna detail more than what you can even imagine. So let me first, like I always, because that's a rule to me. I know somebody suggested, where can you recognize the members and at the end of the show? No, I'd rather do it at the beginning because that's how, to me, my way of saying thank you and showing appreciation to the channel's members and supporters. So here's first Osiris. Thank you so much, Osiris. Once again, Osiris, I've been noticing for the last 2.5 months, man, every video you put in a super sticker for us here. So I can't thank you enough, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let me also extend my sincere thanks to the new channel supporters and members. So I'll start with the members. A new member of Boon Q. Thank you so much for becoming a channel's member. And for supporters of the channel, I'd like to give a shout out to Harold Yu. Thank you for becoming a supporter. Eddie C. Thank you for becoming a supporter. Bun Thi Gan. Thank you for becoming a supporter. And Noob Tang, thank you so much for becoming a supporter. And once again, I call on the member Bontu. Thank you again for becoming a member. By the way, guys, we are at 52 members. So like I promised, once we reach 100, I'm going to do an exclusive Q&A for the members. But I am also going to have a surprise for the members once we reach those 100. So let's get to that quickly by the end of this month. And mark my word, you will enjoy that surprise because you will be the first to know about it. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to talk about it anywhere else. You will be the first one to know about it. So, all right, let me give you at least a heads up of what I am going to be talking today. The key topic is about China and Russia's naval maneuvers in the Sea of Japan. Okay, like I always say, see the big picture. Why now? Why the location? Okay, because the call of those naval maneuvers could be in the South China Sea, right? Why Sea of Japan? And third one is what message those naval exercises are sending to both Japan and the United States. So before I move forward, because I remember last time with Einar Tangen, I had a glitch on the sound and all that. Please give me a thumbs up if you hear me, because I don't want to waste time. So yeah, it was surprising. And by the way, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. You didn't give up on me on that great conversation with Einar Tangen. I'm going to have him back, and he enjoyed having a conversation with me here. So I'm going to have him back on this. And thank you all. Let me see who gave me a thumbs up. Oh, Rudy Adriansen, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now I feel comfortable going forward. All right, let's talk about, well, first of all, I'm going to give you one or two headlines around the world. So, and this one has to do with, let me show you the picture, guys, because you need to see the image to put it in perspective. And I am going to delve deeper into the topic. Okay, if I can get the picture here. Computers sometimes can be very, very, very challenging. So Russian. Okay, I don't know where the picture is, but anyway. Oh no, I have it right here. Okay, let me get you guys the picture. Russia nukes. Yeah. All right, check this out, guys. Is this one right here? Those are the Russian tactical nuclear weapons. Why am I bringing this up? I am bringing this up because the U.S. intelligence community is now confirming that they have no idea where the tactical nuclear weapons are. So, and also they just don't know. They don't know, so they couldn't find out where that is. So that is why I wanted to share this with you. So just for be aware. So, all right, let's move on to our topic here, guys. And here's what we're going to be talking about: the maneuvers, naval maneuvers. I am not going to be talking about what type of weapons they are using or what type of exercises. That's not what I'm going to be talking about, or providing you the information about. What I am going to be talking about is the significance of those naval exercises. First of all, as I mentioned in the question, the location, the timing, and of course, what message are those naval exercises are sending. Okay, so keep your mind open and try to think in terms of the big picture. So this is what I'm going to be talking about. Also, I want to mention about the videos I just released about India. I know there's a lot of comments there that some thinks I am being paid by China and all that nonsense. It is nonsense, because that's, to me, it's ridiculous. But I will be inviting an analyst from India, someone who, based on my, I checked and I have my own contact to find out within India the reputation. So I'm not going to disclose the name, but I'm working on the schedule for you to have a perspective from somebody from within, and he understands the dynamics. So that's one of the things. So the question that I know, not the question, but rather the comment that I noticed a lot, many of you has mentioned regarding both last videos about India, the BRICS and the SCO, is that India has a beef with China for some reason. Some of you have said jealousy, which, yeah, it could be, but that's usually in international relations, that's irrelevant. Some have said that maybe India couldn't swallow the pill of the war of 1962 when it was defeated. Some say that. Others, like, for example, Freedom Fox One, and I found his comment very interesting, and I wanted to share it with you. And he said that sort of China has extensive dam building projects on the source waters for the Brahmaputra River. There is also recent clashes between India and China in the area west of Bhutan, which is a choke point separating eastern India, the Assam region, from the rest of the country. Yeah, that could be some valid arguments there. So he continues, but even without these sources of conflict, India has good reason to sit out the coming war between the US and China. India aside, I generally agree with your analysis. You've been a lone voice of sanity in recent years. Thank you very much. So, but I see his argument. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, because of the issue of choke point, to tie it to what I'm going to be talking about. Okay? Because here's the thing. You guys need to put those expanded Sino-Russian maneuvers in the Sea of Japan. Let me provide you the map here so you see. First of all, this is just some photos that I got from the maneuvers, because they are already on. They should be conducted. They should be completed within the next 2 days, I believe. So those are just some pictures that I wanted to share with you. Here's another one. This is from the current. This is from the current maneuvers in the Sea of Japan. But what's interesting about this is you're going to have to look at it this way here. Let me show you this one here. Look at this map here, guys, and look at the Sea of Japan and why I mentioned the locations. And this is why I wanted to come on the air and share this with you, because you have to understand, especially it's more so for China than it is for Russia. Because Russia also have the issue with Japan regarding the northern islands. Of course, we all know this, but this is much more than just that. The idea that the maneuvers are coming at this time, it's, to me, as an analyst, as a geopolitical analyst, what it tells me, it's a show of strength that, like I put on the thumbnail, and again, there is a reason why I put certain keywords. And I put exactly for a reason. We are ready. We are prepared. It's also because both of them, mainly China, they are seeing that the next step, or the next stop rather, for NATO is Asia. Yeah, Africa will play a role into this, let alone that now even Victoria Nolan is going to be heading out to South Africa. What for? It's because they want to undermine the BRICS summit, because you got 40 countries lined up. And this is why I made the videos about India in this case, for India to see and realize what lies ahead, so they won't miss the opportunity on progressing economically that will benefit their people, the Indian people. It wasn't about criticizing India. What will I have this for? It's providing the arguments for them to understand it. No more, no less. So if Victoria Nolan is going to South Africa to crash the party, because that's what it is, it's because also NATO is increasing its presence in Africa. As a matter of fact, guys, I just found out last night that there are now tensions in Mauritania. You remember the video I did for you guys in Mauritania? There are now tensions inside, social one. We're not talking strategic or geopolitical or military. No. Social internal tensions. But that's how usually it starts. So to tie this back to the maneuvers between China and Russia, China is saying that, and I've been arguing this, I'm looking down the road. And what I see down the road is that the extension of NATO into Asia. And this is where India does not realize what it's getting itself into. By allowing the naval hub for the US there, India will have no say into that, no matter what they say right now. I am an American. I used to work inside the government. I know how things work. If India thinks that, we're going to dictate to the Americans, even if they have their base, no, it won't work that way. There are those who argue where India will have access to the technology. No. US will never share sensitive technology with whomever. Even the Five Eyes countries. We don't share everything. It's just the way it is. So, and like I said again, you have to think about it from that bigger picture. The three main things. And again, I am not going to focus on the type of weapons used and missiles. No. All that is irrelevant at this point. You think about the strategic outlook for why the exercises, what message are they intended to send to both Japan and the United States. Because this is a message to Japan. If you look at the map, okay, I'm going to put it back up here, guys. If you look at the map and the Sea of Japan as to where the maneuvers are being conducted. And by the way, there are certain type of missiles they're going to be used. Those will be, in case of a conflict, will be a short range, because if anything is deployed from Japan, it will become a target. This is why. And I'm going to not detail it, but I'll provide it in the recorded video for you guys, that Japan already issued a statement that, they are not going to get involved militarily if there is a conflict between the US and China, except to provide fuel and supplies. Yeah, no, I ain't going to cut it. They will be dragged into it whether they like it or not. But the whole idea I want you to get out of this so far is to understand that the importance of these maneuvers is also a strategic move. Why? It's because China and Russia wanted to ensure not only preparedness, but also that the choke points are not being controlled by the US or any other allies there. Okay? And I'm going to get into the three main aspects that I need you to understand about this. The three things that in relation to all this, it has to do with the agreements of the United States with PNG, Papua New Guinea. And I did a video for you guys. Then you add that the arrangements or the agreements that's been reached between India and the United States regarding the naval hub in India. Okay. And the third one, oh, I already forgot it. That's how, but so much in my head is going on. So the three items, the PNG, oh yes, the Philippines. Now, in Philippines, I did a video for you guys about the US expanding on 4 bases. I got a word that there are more than 4 bases, and I am waiting for a confirmation. I got a word that there are about 19 more in total, including the 4. And I am going to have a guest, a scholar from Philippines, and I intend to ask that question. But I'm waiting for my own confirmation from my own sources. So all those 3 elements, the expansion of the military bases in Philippines, the agreements between India and the United States regarding the installation of naval hubs in India, and the agreement between the United States and PNG. All this, if you notice one thing, what do they have in common? Navy. Why the Navy? Why not the Air Force? It's the Navy. Why? It's because, again, putting my geopolitical analyst hat on, if I am to think, I am thinking about choking points. And there is a reason for that. Let me share with you. I've been having this information for a long time, and I kept it for a reason. And I'll be happy to do a video for you guys if you want it about the Strait of Malacca. Let me get you the map for it so you see. Check this out. Why is this important? Well, of course, the Strait of Malacca, one that is sandwiched between both Malaysia and Indonesia. Okay, it is a major waterways. If that gets choked, it'll put China at a disadvantage, and I am gonna explain to you why. This is one among other objectives of why there's the naval exercises. Okay, now there is a saying which is a popular in the maritime sector. If you kind of talk to analysts who deal with the maritime analysis and so forth, there's a popular saying, and it goes like this: whatever happens in China affects global shipping. Just take a step back and think about it. Whatever happens in China affects global shipping. Think of that and put this in perspective. And the reason for that is because for China, most of its oil consumption, because China is the largest oil importer, net oil importer, and second largest oil consumer. These numbers, sort of the amount, and I remember I did a presentation to a private audience. It was in the military a few years ago, and I had to disclose the numbers and on. They were like, "What?" And I had the I had the resources, I had the evidence, I had everything. So, and they were like, "Oh man!" So to them it was shocking about the amount, but to them was also an opportunity in understanding where the geopolitical outlook is. And right there, because they're military, those were high-ranking officers, by the way. They were including it was a 1-star general from NATO attended that presentation I did. And all of a sudden it became clear to them that, that makes perfect sense strategically. Choking point. That's why the Malacca Strait is a choking point for China. And just think about history. How did we win World War II against Japan? Why did we defeat Japan? Because Japan, we put a choke point on it, didn't have access to energy. China thinking ahead. This is one of the reasons for that. And again, the consumption of the amount. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the consumption of China's oil will go to about 80+% 30% by 2030. We're only talking about 6-7 years from now. And I have this. I wish I would have pulled up the slide for maybe next time. I might even do a course about all this privately. So what do you guys think? But that will be private. It won't be for this one here. So that is the whole reason. So when you think about the increasing dependency on foreign oil, because China imports a lot, it poses new threats to China's sustenance as far as economics. Energy means a lot for China to keep its economy going. So, and if there is any minor disruption to the supply chain of oil, energy, or what have you, it will have consequences in the long run. That is the whole reason. For it. Let me show you another map, because you need to put this stuff in perspective. Check this out here, guys. Right here. What are you looking at? This is why Malacca Strait is very important. And as I said earlier, it's sandwiched between Malaysia and Indonesia's island of Sumatra. So Malacca Strait, let me pull it up here for you guys. The Malacca Strait in itself serves as the main shipping route connecting the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, making it one of the most important shipping lanes in the world. This is again the reason why the naval exercises came at this time. This is also again why China issued a stern warning to none other than NATO. When NATO, I'm sorry, this is the Pentagon. I got so many pictures here. Yeah, this is NATO meeting. This is why NATO, when it issued its final communique, what was at the heart of it? And I remember sharing this with you guys, section 6 and section 54. I read through. It's a long one, guys. Just if you don't want to read it, go to those two sections, section 6 and section 54. In it, all the focus was about China as the main sort of security concerns for NATO. No. It's a justification for NATO to expand. So China is already preparing itself. And this is why I put the word on the thumbnail. We are ready. It's not a hypothetical. It's not in the void, in a vacuum. No, there is a reason for it. And that is what you need to understand. So when you think about, let me get you another picture here, guys. All right, here's the picture. Yeah, when you think about, for example, the Malacca Strait, it is the busiest strait in the world, with some 100,000 vessels moving annually through. You're looking at about a quarter, about 25% of the world trade passes through this narrow strait, making it important economically as well as strategically or geopolitically, that is. This is no different than the Strait of Hormuz when it comes down to oil shipments. 1/4 of the global oil consumption or need of oil goes through that strait. If that's shut down, it's over. It's no different than it is for China. This is, again, my assessment, my own analysis telling me this nature of the exercises and specifically the location was a clear message that is sent to Japan. You better stay out of it because your history has never been forgotten. And to the United States, don't ever think about it because we will push back. That's the message I read in this. So I have one more, and of course, it is well understood that in the political spectrum that he who controls the Malacca Strait might as well controls the stability in Southeast Asia. So And this is where China comes into play. Again, that's where the geopolitical analysis comes in. It's you have to understand the ins and outs of any movement, be it in a military form, exercises in this case, being in economic or cooperation in the installation of naval hubs, being in political resentments, like in case of India pushing against the SCO vision for the SCO vision 2030 or the BRICS currency. Yeah, those are the aspects of where you can see those trends. And that's where you have anybody, for those call themselves or an analyst in general term, whether you call yourself an analyst or not is irrelevant. An analyst will think in terms of putting those together, those pieces in a cohesive picture that will make more sense to whomever consuming that analysis. I used to work in Washington. This is what sort of consumers inside the United States government will consume that product that is provided as far as analysis and how they're going to intend to deploy it. This is where I see the challenge to all this. Now, there is one aspect to all this picture, and an aspect that we can ignore: the Indian factor. And again, India keeps coming back. And again, there are those who will say, well, you are just what's the word? Picking on India. No, I'm not. It happens to be because of what I am observing on the global stage that is happening, that will have far-reaching consequences, not only for India, but the whole Southeast Asia, or Asia for that matter. I am seeing the writing on the wall. That's why I'm getting on this. It's not about picking on India or any country for that matter. Once again, that's a weak argument. So anybody argues that way, they're entitled to their opinion, but it's a weak argument. So the Indian factor, because over the years, as we all know, it's not a secret, China had a lot of territorial issues with or disputes with its neighbor, India. And because it's been throughout their history. Yeah, they don't escalate to a full-blown war because it will be devastating for all parties. But you think about it in terms of today versus, let's say, 25 years ago. 25 years ago, you think about China's economy, where it was in comparison to where it is today. And this is one thing that India is not able to come to terms with the reality. You are no match to Chinese economy. And again, this is not about putting India down. The numbers speak for themselves. The facts on the ground speak for themselves. Your economy, India in this case, is right here. China's economy is 6 or 7 or 8 times bigger. That's just fact. And this is where the only regional country that can remotely rival, there are those who argue, is India. India can rival China. Okay, if you go with that argument, rival China in what capacity and on what level? Economically? Militarily? Geopolitically? Financially? China has something, India has something that is going for it, is the population. But what good is that if your population live in poverty? How well that's going to serve the country? How well will it serve the country when the social class is widening beyond belief and average Indian person or individual is not benefiting from the promises that the Prime Minister Modi has been feeding the masses? No, that's a reality. And this is why that the India factor comes in, because China will have to be prepared for any eventuality. And I believe, and I could be wrong, and this is my opinion, the timing of this, it's not a coincidental, because the moment that decision, even though it was scheduled, by the way, The Russian-Chinese maneuvers have been scheduled. It's just interesting how it's all fell within a certain landscape. After Prime Minister Modi's return from the United States and the agreement that India made with the US as far as opening a naval hub in India. Because if you look at the map, I don't have one here that is about. No, I don't have this one here. Yeah, I don't have it. I was going to show the locations for. So you think about it in those terms and say to yourself, well, China will have to be prepared for this. It's because China can be vulnerable, especially if the Malacca Strait is choked. And I am not disclosing any classified information right here. We do have it on the plan. As a matter of fact, I am going to share something with you. You will find it surprising. And I'm going to disclose it in the recorded video. Is that Japan and the US have been working for over a year on a plan regarding the conflict in Taiwan and how Japan intends to coordinate with the US. This area is part of it. Malacca Strait is part of that. So this is what I'm saying, guys. You have to see the big picture. Don't assume, oh, those are just naval exercises. Yes, they are, and all that. It's the message they are sending and why. That is the key factor to all this one here. So then you have, I have other aspects of it. Now, we can deny the reality because I don't, I say it as is. Excuse me. India has developed a naval port in the Indian island of Andaman and Nicobar. There is a port there. These islands are in close proximity to where? Can anybody answer me? What are these two locations are close to? Because I want to engage you in a conversation. Leave me the answer on the chat box. I'm gonna take a look. Some of you might be around that area. What are those two locations? And again, I'm gonna repeat it. Is the Andaman and Nicobar. What are these islands are close in proximity to? And again, put this within the bigger picture. US-India arrangements as far as naval hub. US PNG as far as military installation. US Philippines, the expansion of the 4 or 19 bases. NATO opening an office in Japan. You guys see what I'm getting at, right? So let me see the answer. And I know it takes a while for this to show up here, but I'm going to just take a look and see if it shows up. Strait of Malaga, Subhan Kumar. Subhan Kumar, you are absolutely correct, man. Indeed. And now you see why the idea of the Strait of Malacca will be of crucial or choke point for China if it is not prepared. And if it is, and India gets involved that way, it's not going to bode well for India because you're almost like putting a target on your back. This is why Japan wants to get ahead of it by issuing the statement, oh, we are not getting involved with the US military. Yes, we did a plan about a potential conflict with China regarding Taiwan, but we are not going to be a part to it. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So So, and again, because Malacca Strait is a vital shipping route in times of war. Because if this happened, I guarantee you this, no matter how you look at it, you think about it from a historical perspective, you think about it strategically, what will it mean? The choking point of Malacca Strait. It will mean stagnation for the Chinese economy. That's what it will mean. It's the exact setting we did for Japan. All we needed to do, shut off the energy supplies or the flow of energy to Japan. Because here's the thing. Here's another question for you. If you feel like leaving an answer. Do you think if Japan had access to energy, could the outcome of the war would have been different? What do you think? Because here's the thing, just to go back to my topic. So far, India has been enjoying the strategic advantage over China regarding this. But to me, what it signals now, the signaling of this joint naval maneuvers with Russia, it suggests that for India to be enjoying this advantage for over a while, because it's been enjoying it for over decades, this is going to change very soon. This is why I did these videos about India, not to criticize India, but putting sort of the facts on notice for in case there is an official from India watching these videos, because those things were about to change. The policies that India embarked on will end up backfiring moving forward sooner or later. And even India's strategic advantage regarding these two locations with proximity, the locations being the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands, the proximity to the Malacca Strait, this is going to change too. No, whether India likes it or not, no, they're going to change. That's just how strategic maneuvers work. Now, there is another aspect that, and I'm going to share this with you guys because I don't know if I have the picture. No, I don't. Let me pull it up for you. Okay, share and picture 6. All right, check out this picture, guys. Rather, picture 6, and I am going to provide you some insight on it. Yeah, look at this one here. So what are you looking at? I know it's just not very, very, very clear, but this is a satellite image, by the way. And what picture is that? That's a China-Pakistan economic corridor. I remember, and again, I had a chance to do a private presentation about Gwadar. I'm very familiar with it. Maybe one day I'll do a video for you guys if you like that one. And here is the thing. China's Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPAC, from Gwadar to Kashgar. Okay? So if Gwadar wasn't enough, the country has highlighted the importance of the Northern Sea Route and up around Russia, connecting mainland China with Europe. What all this has to do with? The BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, which is India is the only country that is objecting to that. Hey, it's their country. They can choose whatever they want. More power to them. It's no different to me now, like what Italy just did or announced, that they will be withdrawing from the BRI, shooting themselves in the foot economically. You know, Algeria, by the way, is going to benefit from that because it will take all the projects from Italy to Algeria, and that's going to move Algeria forward, economically speaking. So, and this is also in line when you look at this, and I'll be happy to do. This is in connection also to the idea of the Arctic. I did a private presentation on the Arctic. I do private. Those are because they are not for public consumptions. Those are there are some sensitive stuff involved and all that. That's why I do this privately. But if you guys want me to do this, I have to switch it to the civilian version, if I may, and we just go from there. Why is this important? Because it ties to the Arctic policy. Yeah, China's Arctic policy, and there is a policy for that. When I did the Russia book, I detailed that a lot in it. And this is where the polar Silk Road, via the developments of the northern sea route, is going to come in. So because China has been investing heavily in developing sort of ports along the Arctic, because the melting ice and all this, including the build-up or manufacture of the icebreakers, like, for example, the Xulong, or I don't know how I pronounce it, XUE, Xulong. So, and this is nothing new, by the way. Let me show you a picture of that, so you'll see it. No picture here. Let me put it up for you guys. Okay. All right. 6, 7. Yeah, check this one, guys. It's the icebreaker that China built. There we go. That's very, very important. So now you think about all this and you put it within the greater context. This is why I always say, guys, see the big picture. Never ever, as they say in French, il faut jamais regarder le bout du nez. Don't ever look at the end of your nose. Look very, very far. Once again, this is why I am seeing the problems that's going to come up for India moving forward with its ill-conceived policies that it decided to embark on. And it's all this is to sort of provide what's the word I'm looking for? A reality check for India's policies. I hope they can, but again, it's their country, they can do whatever they want. So but again, for you guys, the big picture, and the big picture, when you think about how these maneuvers that are conducted, we mentioned about the Malacca Straits and all the Ecuador and all that stuff. You have to think also as part of the China-Myanmar economic corridor, because you don't forget that. This is why both Russia and China are moving forward with strengthening the military. It's a preparedness, in my opinion. Yes, it might be on a smaller scale because they are limited. There are only 30 planes, I think, or involved. This is not a larger scale maneuvers. They don't need to do larger scales maneuvers. They need to hone on their skills regarding should that a problem come up or the conflict arise, how we're going to conduct our joint operations to secure those kind of locations. Malacca Strait is only one among many. You think about the China-Myanmar corridor. You think about the Ecuador, because China will be building a port in Kia Kampu in western Myanmar, which is connected by highways and railways. Guess where? To Kunming in southern China. Like I always say, big picture. This is where the advantage of all this. And those maneuvers are not happening in a vacuum. That is one thing I want you to get out of this conversation today. It's not in vacuum. And I will do a recorded video, guys, about all this one here. So I do have information separately for the Malacca Strait. Maybe one day I'll do a video for you if you guys like it. But for now, I keep up with the topics that I feel you will learn a lot from. Yeah, I don't just follow the trend because the rest of the world talking about, let's say, Victoria Nolan's trip to South Africa. Well, we all know how evil she is, and I don't shy away from saying this. I have nothing against her. She's just another human being. But it's the intentions of hurting humanity It's about her in humanity. That's what gets to me. What can she do? Something for humanity that is positive, that will benefit everybody. No. We look at the consequences in Ukraine. When she started back in 2014, why? The government back then, or the people, voted for that government, and that government, according to the people's vote, wanted to be aligned with Russia, not with Ukraine. So why is she went ahead and fomented those tensions and financed, that was about $5 billion from the State Department funds. They were transferred to Ukraine. I have the proof for it. I have the reference, the record for it. I can prove it because I checked on it before I put it in my book, because it's my name and credibility in line. So why will she be going? Now she's going to South Africa to do the same. Why can she do something for humanity? Live and let live. Because how can we forget, for example, now with Japan getting into all this? Do people's gonna forget? I look at it like this here, guys. This picture. Just look at it. I saved it for a reason. I saved this picture for a reason. Yeah, Henry Kissinger in his 100 years is about to check out. Is he going there to make peace about what he did to people in Asia? How could people forget what happened in Laos, what happened in Vietnam? Yeah, if they want to forgive him, more power. It's kind of, I don't hold a grudge against the guy. Yeah, but I am aware of what he did, the policies he pushed for, and he convinced the president to embark on. It's almost like, are we seeing a repeat of that? Yeah, he might have gone to China for a different mission altogether, but he's no representative of the government to begin with. So, whatever. A goodwill mission, if you will. Well, funny, you're doing your goodwill mission as you're getting closer to checking out. So you want to have a peace of mind? Why didn't you think about this 50 years ago when you were in the process of implementing the policies? Like I always say, ask questions that matter. Human nature. What will become of it? How many wars were there during the last century? How many died from genocide and political oppression? And did we ever learn from history? No, we did not. And this is where I see that, here she is going, in Nolan in this case, going to South Africa. What for? What for? Intimidate them? Crash the party for BRICS? Convince India to stand on not allowing the currency to move forward? So, this is why I want you guys to put this within the big picture. It's very important. You know what makes a difference between a good analyst and a great analyst? A great analyst tends to really go under the rock, turn the rocks upside down, and really dig deeper. A good analyst will provide you the scheme of things from the top. I tend to go deeper because I think the next 20, 25, 30, 35 years. That's my point in all this. All right, guys, I said enough. I only talk if I have something of importance, because your time means a lot to me. And by the way, it was some individuals which I had to remove. Yes, I did. I will not allow vulgar language to be used against any of my guests or a member of our community. So I removed the guy permanently. Nothing against the guy, but this is not a forum or platform for that kind of language. I will not allow it, no matter what. All right, let me guys see if you have any question. I'll answer one or two, and I'm gonna have to move on with, today is Saturday. I want to finish this, and that's it. I'm not doing anything else. All right, I'm going all the way to the top just to see what, and thank you all, by the way, for your comments on the videos and all that. It's a very interesting. I hope you guys read the comments of others. They are pretty, I do filter the stuff I go through. That's why I spend time. All this takes me time because I believe in what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. And if I am to give you something, I better give you something of value that is worth your time, because you are giving me your time by sitting here and watching and listening to what I have to say. So I better make sure that what you are getting is of value. So those comments, I read them. It's very, very informative. And thank you all for sharing those. So, all right, let me, of course, if I see Q, I will know it's question. There's so many conversation here, which is great. And I really, really appreciate you guys for that. And I will be working on connecting with the guests. Some of you have asked me to consider inviting Professor Kishore. I did reach out to him a few months ago. I don't mind trying one more time. There's one thing I don't do. I don't chase after people. I'm busy too. And to me, that's only fair. It's kind of, and I have no problem if somebody will say, no, I can't come into your show because I don't have time. I respect that. So what? That's okay. All right, let me see if there is any question here. And I'll answer. And I will be probably, most likely, I will do a course about this kind of topics that will be specifically just for that. It will be short, about 45 to an hour, but it won't be in this setting. It will be separately. So, yeah, I don't see any questions here. So, by the way, guys, be on the lookout. I happen to read Arabic, so I'm gonna share this with you. He wrote someone from Iraq, al-akh min al-Iraq. So, and I spent time in Iraq. So, by the way, did you guys know that Iraq is an old civilization, right? But do you know that he was in Iraq, in Baghdad, where the grammatical rules of the Arabic language were established? That's why we had no clue. That's why I was sort of wrote a report prior to the invasion, arguing, don't go in because you're gonna turn Iraq upside down. The whole Middle East changed. Iraq will never be the same ever. And my advice was ignored, because that's what you get when a vice president, he's the vice president at that time. So chain of command. But that's where the grammatical rules of the Arabic language were established, is in Iraq. Good to have you. So, okay, let me see. Question here. Why am I not seeing Q? Oh, here's a question. I happen to see it so closely here. So, question from, I'm sharing it with you. Question more. Okay. Will India ever do naval drills with China? No. No, because I just don't see that happening. Because here's the thing. The animosity is very deep. And I will let you reach your conclusion from which side towards whom. So, I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. As a matter of fact, if I am now to guess about what other leaders of the SCO and the BRICS are thinking right now, they're seeing what just happened with those policies of India, and they're saying we're gonna need to have heart-to-heart talk with India, because you can't just kick India out, because that's not it's not a diplomatic process or protocol. There is a process. I do not know what it is. I am digging into it to find out. So far, I haven't come across exactly how that process works. But I am sure there is a mechanism by which, because it happened with the RCEP, the Regional Economic Comprehensive Partnership, where India withdrew. India was not, I repeat this, India was not kicked out of RCEP. It withdrew its membership. Could India do the same in BRICS and SCO? I don't know. Because with this kind of policies that India is embarking on, it's going to be like the odd man in the party or at the club. It will always be standing in the corner by itself, because there will be the element of as simple as trust. Are the other members going to be trusting India to move forward with any proposal they're going to do? So this is why I say it better be an honest conversation. The leaders of those organizations separately, of course, they'll sit down, put the argument on the table for India, and tell India, okay, which way you want to be. Do you want to be part of the bloc, which means I'm not saying you just go along. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's just when collectively deciding on a policy that's going to benefit all of us, you can't be the only one objecting to it, because we have to move as a cohesive team. If you want to do that, you are most welcome to stay. But if you don't, you are most welcome to leave. With no hard feeling, with nothing. India will still maintain its bilateral relations with some countries in the organizations. India will still maintain its diplomatic relations. Doesn't mean it's going to cut off. Look at us right now. Right now, with what's going on between the US and Russia. Did Russia want to cut off diplomatic relations? Did the US want off and cut off diplomatic? No. Same thing between us and China. But that's not the case between Ukraine and Britain, because Canadian President Zelensky just went ahead and expelled, I think, the ambassador of Britain in Kiev. Speaking of that, be on the lookout for a video I did for you guys. It's my editor is going through it right now. And by the way, I say thank you to my editor, because those videos, guys, he's putting the time and effort into them, and I'm very grateful for that. I did a video which wasn't talked much about, and guess what it's about? The resignation of the British defense minister. It just happened. No mainstream media is talking about it. Quiet. So that's what I see. So, all right, guys. Let me say thank you. I'm glad I saw this one before I logged off. Eccentric Ace, thank you so much for your super sticker. You wrote, what will it be the implication of India leaving BRICS? Also, why aren't they in BRI? Great question. And this is what it gets at the heart of why I did the video. I did the video about the BRICS and ECO, but the ECO separate. For the BRICS is to highlight that India's decision, it's going to backfire on it, not on the other members. Because my belief, in my assessment, the other country is going to move forward, whether India likes it or not. Because all India is going to be doing is not be part of that process, which means India can maintain its bilateral, this is the keyword, not a global, it's bilateral trade in rupees. This is with the assumption it will be country that by which India has entered or entering into an agreement to trade in rupees. Most countries in the world will not do that, because who wants to get the rupees? Because there is no value for them on the global market, because India's economy is not like that of China, for example. This is why the first part of your question, the implication for leaving BRICS. Second thing, India will be shooting itself in the foot, economically speaking, instead of benefiting, because more BRICS countries, along with others from outside the BRICS, they are entering into economic joint ventures. Look at just what now China is going to be doing with Myanmar as far as the infrastructure. Could India benefit from infrastructure like that? I'm sure the answer is yes. And not Indian government, but rather Indian citizens. Because the infrastructure is very poor. Poverty is high. BRICS, at least the coordination with those countries, will allow for India to rebuild or build its infrastructure. That's the way I see it. Second part, why aren't they in BRI? It's because it's the odd man. It's the only country in the region that is not part. There are others, I'm sure, but majority are. You look at the ACO, you look at the BRICS. Both of them are in support of the Belt and Road Initiative. And again, China is not forcing those countries. You are allowed, if you are free to choose if you want to be part. So India doesn't want to be part of it, but India cannot hinder the progress of an entire bloc because it feels differently about BRI. Yeah, you are entitled to that, to do it individually. But when it comes down to the entire team, like I always give that analogy of a team member, if a team member is hindering the progress of a team in whatever area is, what you're going to end up doing, you give in the option to that member. You either shape up, get it together, or just leave the team. Simple as that, as the way I see it. Thank you so much for your super sticker. All right, guys, I am going to sign off here. Yeah, I'm going to sign off here. There's a question, and why not? I'll take this question. That's my last question, by the way. Agricola Urbanus question: Macron encroaching on BRICS too lately. What is that about? I will change the term encroaching. I will change that one. The reason being, and again, I'm just highlighting this for all of us, just to learn, guys. Encroaching, usually it's a strong word when it comes down to geopolitics. When you encroach on another country, that means you are illegally doing some activities that the country is not consenting to. In this case, I'm sure I know what you meant. Encroaching, in other words, wanted to be involved in BRICS, whatever. Yeah, which is a great question, and I agree with you on that. It's because France also seeing where the trend is headed economically. France is doing so bad. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter. I am at the Oualaalou, at the Oualaalou. I posted a tweet last night about images from inside Paris, and I am very familiar with those areas. My family lives in Paris. You won't believe the homelessness and poverty that is exacerbating now the French society. Tourism is so down. The bookings in hotels and all that went down by about 28%, the last stats that I read. So France is going into the wrong directions. Macron, by hinting at BRICS, is trying to feel how the reaction from the West is going to be, especially from the United States. Because here is my thing. If France, and this is a big if France joins BRICS, which I don't see happening anytime soon, it will be a big blow to the United States and the collective West. Because remember, it was France that said to the European Union, we're going to need to reduce our dependency on the US dollar. And what just happened 2 or 3 weeks ago? France declared the amount of gold it has. You ask yourself the question, where did France get the gold from? France doesn't produce gold, doesn't have gold. All that stuff came from Mali and Niger. This is why now you see NATO is going there. And anytime you see the expansion of NATO, France, Germany, and US and UK, those are the leading. All the rest of those countries, those are just, what you call them? The one when you move the caricatures by hand. I forget the term for it. That's all they are. They can contribute squat to NATO. So that is the reason why. And I think it was the second part of your question. What is this all about? Yeah, that's what it's all about. Because France, hearing that BRICS is going to move with the new currency, and France has a lot of gold, is testing the water to see if it will be any reception on it. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the video I did on this or not. That's what it's all about. Well, guys, I hope you'll find this talk very informative. Be on the lookout for some new videos coming out soon within the next 2 or 3 days, including this one. I did a record video for you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. As always, remember, geopolitics impact your daily life in more ways than one. And by the way, make sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. See you guys. Bye bye.